Bitcoin has retested the uptrending support of the larger time frame rising channel formation. This rising channel formation is of course a bearish structure resulting in a downwards break at some point. Let's go ahead and dive into the charts and take a look at where Bitcoin can possibly go. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you for tuning into today's video. We're going to keep today's video nice and short and sharp. We're going to be focusing on one thing, and that is Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about the rising channel formation, as well as doing a short-term structural and technical analysis on Bitcoin to talk about the next potential move, moving towards the multiple amount of news events coming over the next couple days. Before we get started, guys, smash the like button, hit the comment button, and subscribe to the channel. Of course, if you're interested in joining our Telegram channel, the second link in the pinned comment down below will get access to all of our charts, analysis, videos, information, news events, and so much more. Of course, you'll get access to our VIP channel. If you are interested, you can find all the information and our track record since 2021 over here. Let's go ahead and get into the video. We'll start with our data. So taking a look at the liquidations to start off with, we can see moderate liquidations over the last 24 hours is indicating we've had a degree of volatility over the last 24 hours, a little bit of volume has entered the market. Of course, Bitcoin has seen a pretty decent drop from that $17,000 range down towards that uptrending support line, which you can see on this chart over here, which is at 16,700 to 16,800 range. And that's a very key level and a very important level on the chart that's going to be facilitating either a continuation towards a downside, a pretty big continuation, or a bouncing point where we can create a new uptrend. We'll discuss that in just a moment. Moving on from there, obviously the quarterly returns around negative 13.15, so it's still quite red, and we've got about 22 days left for the month. And if we do close this one out red, we're going to see the first ever time in Bitcoin's history where we've seen 4 consecutive red quarters. Now, for Bitcoin to actually see Q4 close green, we're going to have to see that 13% rally from the current price, which will take Bitcoin's price above that 18,700, 18,900, or essentially we have to get back above 19,000. And that's a very key resistance, because a $19,000 level is that larger time frame POC. Again, we'll come back to that. 19,000 is a key level. And of course, guys, volatility is starting to drop as that initial 30-day period volatility at the start of November is starting to be caught up. We start pushing through the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th. We should see volatility start to fall a little bit. Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the market. The DXY actually saw a breakdown from the rising wedge formation we developed on the smaller time frame. We saw a move towards 105. We found support and we pushed back into this horizontal support range. So what happens next with DXY? If we do push upwards from here, we can expect a move towards this descending trend line. Of course, a rejection and a lower high here will result in a loss of this low, and we can see that continuation back towards these low levels. Of course, a lot of news events are coming out pretty soon, and that can definitely shift the DXY in all sorts of directions based on the news. Of course, the DXY does represent the strength of the US dollar, and of course, news events can alter that reading. Moving on from there, we do have the Dow Jones. You can see we did have a pretty strong bearish divergence actually occur on the Dow Jones over here. You can see we had this declining RSI and we had this rising price action over here. So we can see declining RSI over here, and we obviously had the rising price action indicating a pretty strong divergence on the RSI over here. And of course, that resulted in a strong rejection. We pushed towards these lower levels. We can see we are actually coming down to retest these lows over here, these highs over here. That does extend towards the mid-range over here. So we do have a little support block actually occurring over here. Losing that support block will actually result in the price to continue towards the downside. The S&P 500 got rejected quite heavily from its bear market resistance. You can see that bear market resistance indicated by these resistance points. This is a descending, expanding wedge, which is actually a bearish pattern, meaning we do have a bearish downwards consolidation with an expected upward break at some point. The question is, when is it going to break to the upside? Currently on the smaller time frame, we did have this rising wedge structure. We actually rejected on that rising wedge structure, as well as this ascending trend line once more over here, finally losing that structure and breaking towards the downside. We are currently retesting the 3,920 to 3,880 support range. This is a very key support range. If we lose the support range, we can expect a continuation towards these lows, okay? So potential reversal point or potential continuation if lost. Very important to keep an eye on that. But let's go ahead and get into Bitcoin and we'll talk about what's happening. So what have we seen in the last 24 hours? We saw a pretty strong move towards the downside here. We obviously could not sustain above this trigger zone. If we remember, this trigger zone between 17,140, 17,160 was in fact the trigger for a continuation upwards, okay? We did actually push upwards, but we got met with resistance from the local high that we created on the 10th to 11th of November. This local high over here. From there, we actually have been rejected since, losing this smaller time frame uptrending line, pushing towards this horizontal consolidation zone, rejecting from the trigger and pushing towards that lower horizontal support zone. So it still stands. So the move to the upside to continue, we do need a break above this local high. That of course breaking that that November 10th high, as well as the December 5th high over here, can result in the continuation, and a strong continuation, a matter of fact, up to 18,172. As you can see in the VRPV, through that trigger zone, the volume starts to significantly drop off, and we should be pushing through our range with relative ease. The question is now, however, we are at a major support. Not only are we at the major support, which is the 16,700 to 16,800, but we are sitting above that uptrending support line over here. As you can see on this chart, you can see it once more, a little bit more clearly on this chart over here. So a pretty strong support both diagonally and horizontally. So from a structural standpoint, what will occur if we do break to a downside? If we break to the downside, you can see that we do have a decent amount of support a little bit underneath us, but again, underneath this trend line. So the support is sitting at that POC level, which is 16,550. We can expect an immediate move to that level, where we're either going to find support, bounce up and flip that zone before we continue down, or if we happen to have enough bearish strength, we can push right through that level. So the next targets, we are looking at 16,600, which is at POC level. We're looking at 16,100 to 200, and we're looking at 15,500 to 15,800 if this uptrend does break. And we can see on the Ethereum chart, Ethereum has actually started to make that move towards the downside, already losing that uptrending support level that it did create, similar to what we have seen on the Bitcoin chart over here, okay? A rising channel formation. It appears Ethereum has actually already broken towards the downside. Looking for an honest, reliable and accurate exchange that you can trust to trade on, go ahead and sign up to Bitget with the link down below and join myself and all of our other VIP members and other members who trade on Bitget daily. There's a whole range of benefits and features you can actually get by trading on Bitget. These include no government regulations, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the world. There's no KYC, 0% trading fees on spot, massively reduced trading fees on futures. It's one of the lowest in the game. And most importantly, access to their protection fund in case the exchange gets hacked. You can actually get reimbursed for your funds, so you can ensure your funds are safe. Now, most importantly, if you do sign up with the link down below, that first link, you'll get access to 2 additional features. These include access to the reward center, where you can get up to $4,163 in rewards, and access to the MegaWhale exclusive referral link, bonus discounts. Every other month we do bonus campaigns. We get up to 10% off your trading fees, or even you get a percentage of your trading fees refunded to your account as USDT. Essentially, you get paid to be on the exchange. That's enough, guys. We'll get back into the video. We are starting to see, obviously, as lower highs come in, rejections from key levels, loss of major supports, pushing into higher volume chunks, volume created above us, and obviously the trend is starting to weaken. So I do expect a breakdown from this uptrending support line. If we go to the smaller time frame and take a look at the structure, we can see quite a bearish structure for developing. And this, of course, is some degree of either a rising channel in a smaller time frame, or some degree of a pennant formation, a bearish pennant formation developing as well on the smaller time frame. So we have 1 or 2 patterns both of which are definitely bearish patterns. If it was a pennant, well, we broke towards a downside, and anytime we break into a pennant from the downside and develop through our trend, the trend continues towards the downside more often than not. And if it was, of course, a rising channel formation, we already know a similar thing. We break into a rising channel, we develop upwards, and we break towards the downside. So by structure on a smaller time frame, we can expect this to eventually break towards the downside. If we take a look at the Bitcoin chart over here, we can expect that to break towards the downside to follow Ethereum. Where we'll be heading if we do break towards the downside, well, we talked about those levels already. So we're looking for that POC level, which is sitting around 16,000, was it 16,560? We're looking for this lower support level around 16,100 to 16,200, and of course 15,500 to 15,800. Here's the thing, guys. We do have a lot, and I mean a lot, of news events coming up very soon. We have the PPI, we have the CPI, and we have the FOMC interest rate decisions. A lot of these news events can completely shift the market direction at any point. So it doesn't matter what the technicals are looking like, doesn't matter what the charts are looking like, it can definitely come into play to shift the price action in favor of the bullish sentiment or the bearish sentiment, depending on the results of these announcements. So keep in mind, as we approach these events, as we get closer and closer to these events, you should be more skeptical, and you should be decreasing your exposure and risk in your trades, as well as if you're taking new trades, make sure you decrease your risk and exposure to those trades as we approach these events. News events can be beneficial, but for the most part, we never know what the data is until it's released, and therefore, if you're in a trade before it's released, you are essentially gambling to some degree. So keep your mind on that, and definitely keep your eyes on it as they approach. Let's go ahead and take a look at that $19,000 level. We talked about before, why is 19,000 so important? Well, not only is 19,000 the point of which Bitcoin will need to break above to close Q4 green, but 19,000 is also the POC level for the entire zone of June all the way through to that loss in November. So it's like a 4 or 5 month long horizontal consolidation POC. Not only that, it rests just above the major horizontal sideways consolidation or sideways support zone we have between June and that November 10th breakdown point. So we have a lot of resistance above us. We have a very crucial resistance, which is this horizontal level. We have the POC level, of course. Not only that, but we also have the macro bear market resistance. This macro descending trend line is in fact the bear market resistance. So for us to close out the quarter green, we are going to need to break out of the bear market resistance, meaning we've broken out the bear market. We're going to need to break over the horizontal resistance zone, which was a 4 to 5 month long support in June, which is an incredibly strong resistance, as well as the POC level at 19K. Can it happen? Potentially. We have 3 to 4 very, very important news events coming out very soon. If we do get positive news, we can see the price react very positively, but it is a lot of resistance. So I would say it's unlikely that we do it, but it is possible. Keep your eyes on the important levels. The important levels being this high over here, this 17,300 high, okay? There's trigger level right over here. We do clear this trigger level, we should be moving up to 18,172, okay? That happens to occur, we will be breaking through this diagonal resistance and up into this horizontal resistance range, where we're either going to reject or continue this trend to the POC level. Okay, guys, I'm gonna leave the video there. I want to keep today's video nice and short and sharp. That is it for Bitcoin. For the short term, we do expect a continuation towards the downside for now. I do expect this trend line to break. I do expect Bitcoin to lose this trend line for now, unless we see some real strong bullish strength. And the strong bullish strength that we'll need to see is, of course, a reclamation of this horizontal support range. We're going to need to see the zones reclaimed, and we're going to need to see the price get back above these triggers to consolidate or confirm that continuation upwards to this level. Until then, we are now officially, guys, in not only a larger term downtrend, okay, represented by this channel, but now we are also in a smaller time frame downtrend represented by this downtrending support line over here. Okay, so we are in a downtrend now in a smaller time frame. And obviously on the macro time frame, we're taking a look at the macro chart, we are also still in a downtrend, which is this bear market downtrend. We need to start breaking through his downtrends. Coincidentally, or not coincidentally, these downtrends do line up at the same time. So as we start breaking through his local highs, we're going to be breaking through our bear market resistance. As we start breaking through this level over here, we'll be breaking through our bear market resistance, but then we have those horizontal resistances above us still that we need to challenge. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave the video there. I'll catch you in tomorrow's. Cheers.